हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let's start with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. तथैव चान्ये नरलोकवीरा य आहवे कृष्णमुखारविन्दम् नेत्रये पिबन्तो नयनाभिरामम् पार्थास्त्रपूतः पदमापुरस्य अहो बकीयं स्तनकालकूटम् जिघ्रांसयापाययदप्यसाध्भिः लेभे गतिं धात्र्युचितां ततोऽन्यं कं वा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम. अशेष संक्लेश शमं विधत्ते गुणानुवाद श्रवणं मुरारे. किं वा पुनस्तच्चरणारविन्द परागसेवारतिरात्मलब्धा. सोऽहं नृणां क्षुल्लसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणम् यद आह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषभ्यः. त्वं भक्तियोग परिभावित हृत्सरोज आस्ये श्रुते क्षितपथो ननुनाथ पुंसाम् यद यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद् वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय. सोऽसावदर् सोऽसावदभ्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्ध प्रेम स्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भम् उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादम् माध्व्या गिरा पनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः ससर जाग्रन्धतामिस्रम् अथ तामिश्रमादिकृत् महामोहं च मोहं च तमश्चाज्ञानवृत्तयः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Dear devotees, Hare Krishna. We are continuing our study of Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam, and today we will be continuing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, entitled Questions by Mahatma Vidur to Sri Maitreya Muni, and we will be reading from verse number 8. Satyam Mataji, please read verse number 8 and translation.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
द्यूते त्वधर्मेण जितस्य साधो सत्यावलम्बस्य वनं गतस्य न याचतो दात् समयेन दायं तमोजुषाणो यदजातशत्रोः. Translation and purport by our beloved Acharya, His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: Yudhishthira, who was born without any enemy, was unfairly defeated in gambling. But because he had taken the vow of truthfulness, he went off to the forest. When he came back in due course and begged the return of his rightful share of the kingdom, he was refused by Dhritarashtra, who was overwhelmed by illusion.
Hare Krishna. So Dhritarashtra is blind, as we saw in the previous session, not just materially, but Prabhupada says more importantly, he was spiritually blind. Srila Prabhupada said material blindness is not such a big problem because it is not an impediment in one's spiritual progress. But spiritual blindness is more harmful. And Dhritarashtra was spiritually blind because he was having asat sangha. He was having association of wicked-minded sons like Duryodhan, Dushasan, and also his relatives like Shakuni. So Yudhishthir, on the other hand, is Ajata Shatru. So he is having no enemies. Tamo Jushano Yad Ajata Shatru. Yudhishthira Maharaj is Ajata Shatru, means Shatru is Ajata. Shatru is not born. He has no Shatru. He has no enemies. So I'm going to make a statement now, and one of you raise your hand and respond. Krishna is saying, Srimad Bhagavatam is saying that Maharaj Yudhishthir is Ajata Shatru, has no enemies. Yet on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna is telling Arjun, these are your enemies, kill them. So how do you reconcile? Yes, Mukta Sangha Prabhu.
So that means that Yudhishthir Maharaj considered no one as enemies, but others considered Yudhishthir Maharaj as enemy.
Perfect. Ajata Shatru means Yudhishthir Maharaj did not consider anybody to be enemy. He was the friend of all. He was friend to all. Suridam Sarvadehina. That is the nature of a sadhu. But unfortunately, there are some envious people. There are Vaishnava Dveshi Jan, people who are envious of Vaishnavas. And Duryodhan, Dushasan were like that. So he had taken a vow of truthfulness, our Maharaj Yudhishthir, because you're sadhu, as this verse says. So he simply asked them for his kingdom. But Dhritarashtra Maharaj refused. It was decided, if they go 12 years in forest exile, 13th year, 1 year in incognito, and they are not detected, then they can come back. and their kingdom will be returned. So they fulfilled the criteria. But still, out of sheer greed, Dhritarashtra Maharaj and his gang refused. Purport: Srila Prabhupada says, Maharaj Yudhishthir was the rightful heir to his father's kingdom. After Maharaj Pandu died, Yudhishthir Maharaj was the rightful heir. And Dhritarashtra was only a temporary standby caretaker king. But he became so attached to the kingdom, he didn't want to let go. But just to favor his sons headed by Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, who was King Yudhishthir's uncle, adopted various unfair means to cheat his nephews, the Pandavas, of their rightful share of the kingdom. At last, the Pandavas demanded only 5 villages, one for each of the 5 brothers, but that was also refused. In this incident led to the Kurukshetra war. Kurukshetra war, therefore, was induced by Dhritarashtra, Dushasan, Duryodhan, Shakuni, Karna, the Kuru army, not the Pandavas. As Kshatriyas, the proper livelihood of the Pandavas was only to rule and not to accept any other occupation. A Brahman, Kshatriya or Vaishya will not accept employment for his livelihood under any circumstances. See, strictly from the point of view of Varnashram, a Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya cannot be employed. We cannot be doing IT job and call oneself a Brahman. Or one cannot be a doctor and call oneself a Brahman. We see in the 9th canto, Ashwini Kumaras, who are the doctors for the demigods, they are not even allowed to sit in the yajna and partake of the share. So in today's world, doctors are very highly paid, but actually, according to Varnashram, it's a very low-class profession where you're touching the blood and stool and pus of different patients. Anyway, a Brahman does not accept employment. He teaches and can receive charity. He can receive dakshina. Kshatriya, obviously, is never employed. They rule. And Vaishyas, they are self-employed. So they are also not employed. They have their own business, agriculture, etc. Only Shudras are employed. Therefore, we can see, according to Varnashram, we are all Kalo, Shudra, Sambhava. In Kali Yuga, we are all Shudras, according to Varnashram. However, when we accept Vaishnava Dharma, then we are beyond ordinary Varnashram. Because Vaishnava Dharma directly deals with the eternal religion of the soul, the spiritual platform. And therefore, these rules of Varnashram Dharma do not apply. Can I challenge all of you? How many of you have read Ante Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita? Okay. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not eat prasad cooked by non-Brahmanas. True or false? True. Vamshavedam Prabhu? True or false?
Partially, except for one exception.
Which exception?
I forgot the name for. I'm sorry. Sanodia Brahman. I forgot the name.
Naam Brahman hai. Whose rotten rice he stole?
Rotten rice.
Huh?
Rotten rice.
Shri Raghunath Das Goswami.
Raghunath Das Goswami.
So that is an example where Mahaprabhu actually ate from a non-Brahmana. But if you read Ante Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami clearly writes that Mahaprabhu accepted invitations from non-Brahman Vaishnavas, but did not eat food cooked by them. So when a non-Brahmana Vaishnava would invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for a prasad, they would get prasad from Anand Bazar. They would get prasad from Jagannath Puri temple, Jagannath's Mahaprasad. They would not cook. But when Mahaprabhu was invited by Brahmanas, like Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, pure Brahman, son of Tapan Mishra, they would cook. But Mahaprabhu would not eat food cooked by non-Brahman Vaishnavas. Now tell me why. This goes completely against the Siddhanta that we have heard. Think about it. Okay, this is homework. No, Mahaprabhu didn't have Jati Buddhi in Vaishnavas, but you have to explain how. Because this challenge can be given to all of you, Bhakti Vaibhava students. Someone may raise this doubt. Hey, Kaviraj Goswami has written in Antarila. How can you reconcile this behavior of Mahaprabhu? Okay. Mukta Sangha Prabhu, read verse number 9. Yada cha partha prahita sabhayam, like that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yada cha partha prahita sabhayam jagad gururyani jagada krishnaha natani pumsam amritayanani rajorumene chata punyaleshaha. Translation. Lord Krishna was sent by Arjuna into the assembly as the spiritual master of the whole world. And although his words were heard by some, like Bhishma, as pure nectar, it was not so for the others, who were completely bereft of the last farthing of the past pious words. The king, Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana, did not take the words of Lord Krishna very seriously.
Hare Krishna. So, Yudhishthir Maharaj and Arjun, they sent Lord Krishna as their Shanti Dut, peace messenger, to Hastinapur, because they didn't want such a big war. If things can be settled without a fight, it's always preferable. And Krishna, who has the power to persuade and convince anybody, Krishna is very persuasive. Can you give some examples of Krishna's persuasiveness? How Krishna can convince anybody? Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji. Your volume is not coming, Mataji. Maybe you have to disconnect your audio device or something if you're having. Hare Krishna. We are not able to hear Mataji. Okay, till then we can listen to Sharnagat Mataji. Sharnagat Mataji, please give some example of Krishna's persuasiveness and ability to convince anybody.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. So Arjuna was not ready to fight and kill his Dronacharya and Acharyas, but then Krishna convinced him. Even like when Karna was not having weapons and Arjuna was not ready to kill Karna that time, but Krishna
convinced. Very
convinced.
nice. Excellent example. Mukta Sangha Prabhu, you have another example of Krishna's persuasiveness and convincing ability?
So during his childhood, he convinced his father to do offerings to the mountain rather than Indra.
Jai Ho, Jai Ho. Our Govinda lifts Govardhan. Yes, he convinced. Very nice. I have a personal favorite. Anybody else wants to take a guess? Yes, Amrit Gaurangi Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. So when Yudhishthir had to tell the Ashwatthama, Ata Kunjara, also Krishna convinces him to say that. Is that right, Prabhu?
Yes, yes. He convinced Yudhishthir Maharaj also, who never spoke a lie. Yeah, just now we had taken a vow of truthfulness, but Krishna convinced him also. Silki Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
During the childhood, Krishna used to convince his mother Yashoda that he never ate curd.
मैं
Makhan
नहीं
chole.
माखन खायो.
मैं नहीं माखन खायो.
Very nice. Yes, how he used to convince. Yes, very beautiful. Shanta Radhika Mataji, and then Janani Mataji.
चाइल्डहुड में जब उन्होंने मिट्टी खाई थी तो ही कन्विंस्ड यशोदा मैया कि मैंने मिट्टी नहीं खाई है एंड ही शोड हिज यूनिवर्सल फॉर्म.
Yes, Mrit Bhakshandila also he did the same thing. Janani Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
When
Krishna.
Yudhishthira did not accept the kingdom after the war, Krishna took him to Bhishma and convinced him about the Rajadharma.
Hare Krishna. Yes, actually, there even Krishna could not convince, but he convinced him to come to Bhishma, and then Bhishma Dev convinced. Very nice. Sarajanandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think of two examples. One is how he convinced Balaram that Subhadra should be married to Arjuna rather than Duryodhana. And then the other example is when Balaram got very angry that Duryodhana, Bhima did not follow the rules of the Gada war and he defeated him. He convinced there also that it was right for Bhima to have defeated Duryodhana.
Yes, very nice. Both the instances, it was grave danger because Balram
Yeah, and to convince Balaram, elder brother, is like even more delicate.
very difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, very difficult. Yes, Sharanagat Mataji, you have one more example? Then I will share my example.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I remember that like when Brahmana's wives, they bring that food and then they wanted to be with Krishna. Krishna convinced them to go back and accept their duty and go back to their household duties.
Nice.
So
They
that's
didn't want to
what
go.
I remember.
Yes,
Yes, they didn't want to go, but he.
Yeah, this will not be good. You go. Just remember me, chant my name, hear about me, and that way you will always. Very nice example. I like the example. I'll give two examples. One is I really like how that Bhasmasur, Vrikasur, how he was, he got the benediction from Shivji that whoever head he touches, their head will crack. And then he was chasing after Shivji, and then Krishna came as a Brahmana and convinced him, who are you believing? That Shambhu, he just keeps giving Ashirvad, it doesn't work. Touch, nothing will happen. And then he convinced him to touch his own head, and it died. And the second most favorite example is Krishna, as Chaitya Guru has convinced all of us to take to the path of Krishna consciousness. We are such hardened materialists, but Krishna has convinced us. So that's an amazing example. So although Krishna is so persuasive and he can convince anybody, but if someone is demoniac, someone has Asuri Buddhi, then they just won't listen even to Krishna. Because ultimately Krishna can inspire us, but Krishna doesn't interfere with the free will of the jiva. In Jaiva Dharma, we studied why Krishna does not take away the independence of a jiva, ever. Who remembers? Or forget Jaiva Dharma, just from your readings of Shastra and hearing of Srila Prabhupada, why does Krishna not take away the independence of the jiva? Shrimati Shama Kishori Mataji Uvacha. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think because love cannot be forced, and he wants us to love him voluntarily. So for that, we need to have independence.
Not that Krishna wants us to love him voluntarily. Love is voluntary.
Yes.
Love is voluntary, and the relationship that the jiva has with Jagdish is of love. Prema Pumarto Mahan, the supreme accomplishment, the supreme artha for all of us is Prem. Prema Pumarto Mahan. So Prem is Pravajan. So Prem is always spontaneous, Prem is always voluntary. That is one reason. But remember what Jaiva Dharma says, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if Krishna were to take away the independence of the jiva, then jiva would become a jad vastu. But jiva is a chid vastu. And chid consciousness means there is free will. If the free will is taken away, then what is the use of our chetana? We become like a dead substance. You can do whatever you want with it. You can freeze water, you can melt water, you can vaporize water, you can do whatever. The water does not say anything. So if our free will is taken away, our independence is taken away, then we become a jad vastu. But by ghatana, by constitution, the jiva is a chid karna vastu. It is conscious chetana. And chetana means there has to be independence. There has to be free will. Otherwise, we are dead matter. So very good. So because the free will is there in a jiva, even after Krishna convincing, a jiva has a possibility that the jiva will refuse to listen to Krishna. So it is said that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan did not take the words of Lord Krishna very seriously. Why they did not do so? Even though Krishna's words were nectar, Amrit, Ayanani, Krishna's words coming out of his mouth were like nectar, but still they did not hear because they were completely bereft of their Sukriti. Their pious credits were completely gone. And therefore, Punya, because Shata Punya Lesha, last word is Shata Punya Lesha, because their Bhakti Poshak Sukriti was not there, because their pious credits were not there, they could not accept. Give me Praman from Bhagavad Gita that to do steady bhakti, we need to be free from sinful activities. Vamshodhan Prabhu?
एतां
Yesham
सुकृतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां
Te Dvandvamoha Nirmukta Bhajate Mam
दृढव्रतम्.
Dridhavrata. If Dridha Bhakti has to be done, then we have to be. So yesterday, what did we read in Jaiva Dharma? What is real civilized society? Who remembers? Yes, Raj Prabhu, Rishi Prabhu.
Real civilization means free from sinful life.
Exactly. That is what was taught to Digambar by Shri Advaita Das Babaji Maharaj. That you are saying this society, that society, Sabhyata, civilized society, modern science. Civilized society means sinless society. If a society is not sinless, it is a demoniac society, not a civilized society. So very nice. Thank you, Rishi Prabhu, for remembering. Lord Krishna, purport. Lord Krishna, who is a spiritual master of the entire universe, accepted the duty of a Dut, messenger, and was deputed by Arjun. He went to the assembly of King Dhritarashtra on a peace mission, Shanti Dut. Krishna is everyone's Lord. Yet, because he was the transcendental friend of Arjun, he gladly accepted the role of messenger, exactly like an ordinary friend. That is the beauty of the Lord's behavior with his pure devotees. So again, yesterday we were reading that the Jiva Tattva is what? As our Shama Kishore was saying, Rahasya. This is the Rahasya. That even the Jiva is servant, Krishna gladly accepted the role of a messenger, just like a friend. That is the beauty of Krishna's behavior with his pure devotees. Krishna becomes Aham Bhakta Paradhina. I am conquered by my devotees. That is the beauty of bhakti. That is a rahasya. Krishna reached the assembly and spoke about peace. And the message was relished by Bhishma, because he is a pure devotee, and other great leaders, because it was spoken by Lord Krishna himself. But due to the exhaustion of the pious results of their past deeds, Duryodhan or his father Dhritarashtra did not take the message very seriously. If we are committing sinful activities, then we will not be able to understand the message. Therefore, Prabhupada said, it is important to chant 16 rounds, but we also, on a material level, have to follow the 4 regulative principles, and on a spiritual level, we have to avoid the 10 offenses against the holy name. Otherwise, one can chant 64 rounds and one can criticize devotees. There is one devotee who claims to chant 3 lakh names every day. And he has Facebook posts that come and join me. I will teach you how to chant 64 rounds. And he openly criticizes our Guru Varga. So what is the use? What is the use of such? We don't know what he's chanting, what he's doing, but he claims to be chanting 3 lakh every day. And says anybody who comes and lives with me will start chanting 1 lakh minimum. And then he's criticizing the pure devotees. So once Sripad Ayendra Prabhu was told about one such devotee, that he's a Nam Japak, he seems to be very advanced, but he said these things about some negative remarks about Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Your parampara is good till Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, but after that it's all problematic. He didn't believe in Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and our Prabhupada. So Sripad Ayendra Prabhu was asked that, he's such a great devotee, he chants 3 lakh and he has written so many books and so many disciples he has. What do you think about him? Sripad Ayendra Prabhu very clearly said that he may be what he is, but if he does not have respect for my Guru Varga, I have nothing to do with him. I have nothing to do with him. So we should also have that transcendental pride and loyalty to our Guru Parampara, our line. By past pious deeds, one may become king of a country. But because the results of pious acts of Duryodhana and company were dwindling, it became evident from their actions that they were sure to lose the kingdom to the Pandavas. What does this mean? Because of some pious activity, Dhritarashtra became king. We may become prime minister, president because of pious deeds, previous pious deeds. But Shine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti. If we don't maintain the good work and we perform sinful activities, then very soon it's a debit account. It may have $1 million. So we keep spending. Either in 1 year or 10 years or 20 years, the money is going to be exhausted. And then we will go into debt. We'll fall down. Therefore, it is very important that we avoid sinful activities and keep accumulating as much Adhyatmik Sukriti, as much Bhakti Poshak Sukriti as possible. We should be, Srila Rupa Goswami in Padyavali writes that just like a miser counts money, we should count our naam. We should not get 5 minutes, we should think, oh, let 5 minutes, let me chant. On counter, on Mala, like Ananya, she is on the way to college, but still very grateful. She is listening to Hari Katha. So we should not waste time. Avyartha kalatam. We should always be engaged. This Hari Katha that we hear, it is like a vaccination that protects us from the attack of Maya. When we go to college, university, workplace, our shop where we work, office, it is like going into the playground of Maya. And we can be influenced by Maya at any time. But if we regularly chant Harinam, if we regularly remain in the association of devotees, and we hear Hari Katha, Hari Kirtan, we will be protected. The message of Godhead is always like nectar to the devotees. What is the praman? Raise your hand. Are? What is the praman? Yes, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji.
Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam.
Yes. And what else?
Tavakathamritam.
Ah, Tavakathamritam. Your Krishna Katha is Amrit. Tavakathamritam. Prabhupada is saying the message of God is like nectar. He's quoting Gopi Geet right there. But it is just the opposite to the non-devotees. Now he's coming to Rupa Goswami's nectar of instruction. Sugar candy is always sweet to a healthy man, but it tastes very bitter to a person suffering from jaundice, Pitta Rog. So, Vamshivadan Prabhu, text 10, please.
Yado pahuto bhavanam pravishto mantraya prishta kila purvajena atahatan mantra drisham variyan yan mantrino vaidurikam vadanti. Translation. When Vidura was invited by his elder brother Dhritarashtra for consultation, he entered the house and gave instructions which were exactly to the point. His advice is well known, and instructions by Vidura are approved by expert ministers of faith.
Yes. A devotee is always very truthful and always speaks what is beneficial to others. What verse is this? Yes, Sarojanandini Mataji.
Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Very nice.
This is the austerity of the speech. Vangmayam tapa uchyate. This is called austerity of the speech. That anudvegakaram vakyam, we don't speak words that are agitating unnecessarily to others. Anudvegakaram vakyam. Satyam, we speak the truth. Priyam, in a pleasing way. Hitam, for the benefit of others. And at all times, swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva. We keep repeating the verses of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is how we control the speech. Krishna is saying. Purport. Political suggestions by Vidur are known as expert, just as in modern times, Pandit Chanakya is considered the authority in good counsel in both political and moral instructions. Political instructions, moral instructions, Chanakya Pandit gave very good instructions. Srila Prabhupada quoted, and there is also a book now on Prabhupada's different quotations of Chanakya Pandit's shlokas, because they are good moral instructions, and day-to-day life they can be helpful if we remember them. However, Chanakya Pandit was not a pure devotee. Prabhupada said he was a Mayavadi. He was an impersonalist. So not a pure devotee, he was an impersonalist. But his political, Prabhupada is not saying spiritual instructions. Read carefully. So if there is some discrepancy between what Chanakya Pandit is saying and what Bhagavatam is saying, who should we believe? Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Pramanam Amalam. So moral instructions, political instructions are good. Chanakya Pandit was empowered by Krishna. So we can accept that. A devotee Sargrahi takes the essence, like a honeybee, takes the nectar from every flower. So what Vidur suggested and counseled Dhritarashtra was for his good. But unfortunately, Dhritarashtra did not listen. Sarojanandini Mataji, can you please read text number 11?
Yes, Prabhuji. Ajata shatro pratiyachadayam titikshato durvishaham tavagaha sahanujo yatra vrikodaraihi shwasan rushayat twamalam bibheshi. Translation. Vidura said, "You must now return the legitimate share to Yudhishthira, who has no enemies and who has been forbearing through untold sufferings due to your offenses. He is waiting with his younger brothers, among whose the revengeful Bhima, breathing heavily like a snake. Surely you're afraid of him."
So Vidur had advised, very good Mataji, thank you. Vidur had advised his brother Dhritarashtra in this way, that you must return Yudhishthira Maharaja's fair share to him. He is Ajatashatru. He has no enemies. Why are you behaving in a very envious way towards him? He has tolerated so many untold sufferings which you caused. You wanted to burn the house. You cheated them in the gambling match. You tried to attack their wife in a public assembly. You drove them out of the kingdom. You poisoned their food. What not you have done? Now he's waiting with his younger brothers. Don't forget, he has the most powerful warrior in the world, Arjun, as his younger brother, and the most powerful Gada fighter, the club. And he is Vrikodhara. He has unlimited appetite for revenge. That is Bhim. He's breathing heavily like a snake. You are afraid of him, Dhritarashtra, are you not? So come to your senses. Don't rub them the wrong way. You have done that quite enough. Okay. Sharada Radhika Mataji, please read verse number 12.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Partham Sudevo Bhagavan Mukundo, like that.
Thank you. Partham Sudevo Bhagavan Mukundo Gruhitavan Sakshit Deva Devaha Aste Swapuryam Yadudeva Devo Vinirjita Shesha Nrudeva Devaha.
Very good.
Thank you. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, has accepted the sons of Prudha as his kinsmen, and all the kings of the world are with Lord Sri Krishna. He is present in his home with all his family members, the kings and princes of the Yadu dynasty, who have conquered an unlimited number of rulers, and he is their Lord.
Yes, Krishna is Nrideva Deva. He is the Lord of all the kings also. So Lord Krishna is Bhagavan Mukundo. He's Bhagavan, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vidura had advised like that to Dhritarashtra. Very good advice. And he is on the side of Dharma. And the Pandavas are on the side of Dharma. So Krishna is on the side of the Pandavas. You are on the side of Adharma. And Krishna's mission is Paritranaya Sadhunam and Vinashaya Dushkritam. Only then Dharma Samsthapana can happen. So Krishna will kill you because you are on the side of Adharma. And Krishna will always protect the Pandavas. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Vidur gave Dhritarashtra very good advice regarding political alliance with the sons of Kunti, the Pandavas. Pritha is Kunti's name. The first thing Vidur said was that Lord Krishna was intimately related with them as their cousin. So, what was the relationship between the Pandavas and Krishna? Raise your hand. Yes, Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji. Mataji, we are not able to hear you still. Are others able to hear? I am not able to hear. No, we are not able to hear, Mataji. Something is wrong with your audio. See where the audio button is. If you click on that upward arrowhead, see what your speaker is connected to.
Hare Krishna.
And now we can hear.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So Krishna's father Vasudeva and Pandava's mother Kunti Devi were brother and sister.
Brother and sister. Very good. So that relationship they did not have with Duryodhana. It was a relationship through Pritha, through Kunti. So Vidur is reminding, see, you don't have a relation, but the Pandavas have a family relation. First thing, he's their cousin. Because Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Mukunda, he is worshipable by all the Brahmanas and demigods, who are the controllers of universal affairs. Besides that, Lord Krishna and his family members, the royal order of the Yadu dynasty, were the conquerors of all the kings of the world. They had conquered so much. And Prabhupada, the next paragraph explains how they had conquered everywhere. They had married the princesses in all the major kingdoms. So they had very good political relations with everyone. Now, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please read text 13.
Prayesh dosha purusha dvidaste grihan pravishto yam apatyamatya pushnashi krishna vimuko gata shrish yajash ashashvam kulak kaushalaya. Translation. You are maintaining a once personified Duryodhana as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna. And because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family.
Yes. Sometimes doing the right thing, doing the good thing may be very difficult because of attachment. But we have to do it. Sometimes our best friend may be bad association, or our very close family member may be a very bad association in our spiritual life. And we have to not think from a Laukik point of view, but we have to think from a Paralaukik point of view, Paramarthi point of view. What is ultimately good for me? Let me do that. So here, when Srila Vyasadeva writes in Mahabharata, when Duryodhan was born, along with his 99 brothers, there were many, many bad omens, especially when Duryodhan was born. He was the eldest. First he was born. And there were so many bad omen that Vidur advised Dhritarashtra that keep the 99 brothers, but get rid of this one son, Duryodhan. He will spoil everybody. And Dhritarashtra had refused. Vidur said, you have 99 sons. Just give up one child. But he said, no. Just drive him out of the kingdom. No. And then we see that one son, Duryodhan, he caused the destruction of the whole Kuru dynasty. Because he is Krishna Vimukho, Gatashri. If you are against Krishna, you are Gatashri. You are devoid of Radharani. You become a Radha Shunya. If you commit aparadh to Krishna. See, it is clearly said. Krishna, third line. Krishna Vimukho, Gatashri. Shri is Radharani, or the internal potency of Krishna. And if we become Krishna Vimukh, then we are finished. We lose bhakti. But if we are Krishna Sammukh, we are favorable to Krishna, Anukulyana Krishna, then we can do bhakti uttama. So Duryodhan was offense personified, here it is said. He was offense personified. He was dosh, filled with bad qualities. Yet Maharaj Dhritarashtra nurtured him, nurtured Duryodhan. And just see what happened. So much ill fortune came to the whole family. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, a good son is called apatya. Apatya means, patya means to fall down, patan. Apatya means son is called apatya, good son. Suputra is called apatya, one who does not allow the father to fall down. How? The son can protect the father's soul when the father is dead by offering sacrifices to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This system is still prevalent in India. After the death of his father, a son goes to offer sacrifices to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu at Gaya, and thus delivers the father's soul if the father is fallen. But if the son is already an enemy of Vishnu, Krishna Vimukh, how in such an inimical mood can he offer sacrifice to Lord Vishnu's lotus feet? Lord Krishna is directly the personality of Godhead Vishnu, and Duryodhan was inimical to Krishna. He would therefore be unable to protect his father Dhritarashtra after his death. He himself was to fall down because of his faithlessness towards Lord Vishnu. How then could he protect his father? A person who is drowning cannot save someone who is also drowning. You know? Vidur advised Dhritarashtra to get rid of such an unworthy son as Duryodhan as soon as possible, if he was at all anxious to see the good of his family. As long as Duryodhan was there, Dhritarashtra's spiritual upliftment was not possible because he was kusanga. He was asat sanga for Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra ultimately was saved. But he was saved only after Duryodhan was killed. See? As long as Duryodhan was alive, nobody could save Dhritarashtra. So this is very important. And Prabhupada says in the next paragraph, he quotes Chanakya Pandit. According to moral instructions of Sri Chanakya Pandit, what is the use of a son who is neither a learned man nor a devotee of the Lord? If the son is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he is just like blind eyes, a source of trouble. They're useless. So now, Shama Kishori Mataji, please read text 14.
Hare Krishna, thank you. इति उज्जीवांस्तत्र सुयोधनेन प्रवृद्धकोपा स्फुरिताधरेण असत्कृता स्पृहणीयशीलः क्षत्ता सकर्णानुजः सौबलेन. While speaking thus, Vidur, whose personal character was esteemed by respectable persons, was insulted by Duryodhan, who was swollen with anger and whose lips were trembling. Duryodhan was in company with Karna, his younger brothers, and his maternal uncle Shakuni.
So when Vidur was giving these good advices to Maharaj Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan came and he insulted Asat Krita. He insulted his uncle Vidur, who was very respectable because he's one of the Mahajans, being an incarnation of Yamaraj. But what to do? Srimad Bhagavatam clearly says that Duryodhan was in the company of Karna, Anuja, like his younger brother Dushasan, and Saubalena. Shakuni. When you have company of Shakuni, Karna, and Dushasan, what can be expected? If you have such bad company, then bad thoughts will come. When bad thoughts come, we have bad plans. And when we make bad plans, we put them into action sooner or later. So, Asat Sangha, first it gives bad thoughts, galat soch, galat chintan, galat kriya. We get bad thoughts in bad company because there is nonsensical talk, prajalpa. Bad thoughts become bad contemplation. Bad contemplation leads to bad actions. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, it is said that giving good counsel to a foolish person causes the fool to become angry. Just as feeding milk to a snake only increases its venomous poison. Upadesho hi murkhanam prakopaya kalpate. They only get prakop, get very angry even if you give them good upadesh. Saint Vidur was so honorable that his character was looked up to by all respectable persons. Everybody respected Vidur, but in his own family, they didn't like him. This is also seen. Familiarity breeds contempt. Somebody who is very much respected by other society of devotees, in the own family, that devotee will not be valued. That devotee will be ill-treated, yelled at, even though that person may be a very nice devotee. Everybody will respect that devotee, but in the own family, the devotee will be disrespected. What to do? This is the nature of the material world. But Duryodhana was so foolish that he dared to insult Vidur. This was due to his bad association with Shakuni, his maternal uncle, as well as with his friend Karna, who always encouraged Duryodhana in his nefarious acts. Some foolish people, they have written books glorifying Karna as a hero. But there are so many descriptions I have read in Srila Vyasadev's Mahabharata, where it is very clear that Karna, although he had some pious qualities like being charitable, worshipping Suryadev, but he was doing it only to bloat his own ego, only to feed his own false ego. And he did not have devotion to Bhagavan. So he was Asur. Now, last verse for today. Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, please read verse number 15. Kaenam
atro paju avajimam dasya sutam yad palineva pustaha tasmin pratipa prakritya aste nirvasyatam asupuraj javasanaha. Translation: Who asked him to come here? This son of a kept mistress? He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath.
So this is spoken by Duryodhana. Thank you, Mataji. So Duryodhana is saying, who has asked Vidur to come here? After all, he is a son of a Dasi. He is Dasi Putra. He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy. Who is the enemy? Pandava. See, Yudhishthira is Ajata Shatru. But here, Duryodhana is considering him an enemy. He is supporting the enemies, he is saying. Against those who he has grown up with. Means we are feeding him. We are feeding Vidur, we are maintaining Vidur, but he is supporting those Pandavas. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him only with his breath. Means take away all his possessions, just leave him with nothing except his own breath. So Srila Prabhupada explains that Dhritarashtra Maharaj was very affectionate toward his younger Dasi Putra Vidur. And Vidur was a great friend and philosopher advisor to Dhritarashtra. Duryodhana knew very well that Vidur was a great soul and well-wisher, but unfortunately he used strong words to hurt his innocent uncle. Duryodhana not only attacked Vidur's birth, but also called him an infidel faithless person, unfaithful person, infidel, because he seemed to support the cause of Yudhishthir, whom Duryodhan considered his enemy, not other way around. Yudhishthir is Ajata Shatru, but this Duryodhan, wicked Duryodhan, considered Yudhishthir an enemy. And because Vidur, so see, when a wicked person is given advice, they will take advice only if it matches their views. If it doesn't match their views, they will not accept it. So, in the last sentence, Srila Prabhupada says, Vidur was struck with wonder at such unexpected behavior from his nephew Duryodhan. How can Duryodhan talk to me like this? I am uncle. And before anything actually happened, before actually Duryodhan kicked him out or something, or took away his clothes and everything, he decided to leave the palace for good. Vidur only left. He took it as a good pretext to leave and go on a spiritual journey. So we'll stop here. It is almost 9:30, and we will continue Krishna willing next week from verse number 16. So such reversals can come in the life of very great devotees like Vidur also. And we just have to move on in life. What to do? Hare Krishna. So yes, Sarojanandini Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Nandat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. I had a question from the last class. You were mentioning that any of the Varnashrama or Karmakanda things are not so important for us because we are Rupanugas. We always follow what Rupa Goswami has taught us. And this is more important to us than other things. And in that context, we were also speaking about Satyanarayan Puja and all that we respect, but we don't participate. So I was just remembering about that point. And then when we were reading through all this story, this is all from Mahabharata. So Bhagavatam is so much intertwined with Mahabharata stories, and even the context of Bhagavad Gita is so much about Mahabharata. So we have to understand Mahabharata also thoroughly in order to even understand the context and the feelings of different people and what is good and bad, right? So how to understand both these things together?
Hare Krishna. So according to the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Srila Vyasadeva is lamenting that I have not given the highest literature to the world in spite of writing Mahabharata, which is specifically mentioned in the first canto. In spite of writing Mahabharata, in spite of writing all the Vedas and Upanishads and other Puranas, I am not satisfied. So certainly Mahabharata is a Vedic text, and there are many valuable lessons that we can learn. And wherever there is a connection with Krishna, those sections of Mahabharata are especially important. For example, Bhagavad Gita is out of this world. It is a foundational scripture for all of us, and it is very much a part of Mahabharata. And in and of itself, Bhagavad Gita is also called as Gita Upanishad, one of the Upanishads. And so it is a Shruti, in that it is a Gita Upanishad, and it is also Smriti, being that it is part of Mahabharata, which is one of the Itihasas, which is categorized together with the Puranas as a Smriti. So Bhagavad Gita is Shruti as well as Smriti. It is Gita Upanishad and it is part of the Itihas, Mahabharata. So Bhagavad Gita is very important. Draupadi's prayers in the Kuru Sabha, those 3 prayers in Anushtup Chanda, they are very important. Draupadi's prayers in Kamyavan, when Durvasa Muni comes with his 60,000 disciples, those prayers are very, very beautiful, where she addresses Krishna with 2 names, Gopal, Laddu Gopal, who likes to eat, and Jagannath. Jagannath also likes to eat. And here Durvasa had come and they had no food. So I have read those prayers in the original Vyasadeva's Mahabharata. She addresses Krishna as Gopal and Jagannath, and Krishna comes there. So these sections of Mahabharata where there is direct connection with Krishna, they are pure and very much important. However, in Mahabharata, majority of the places, there is a lot of mention of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Lot of stories that will attract the Karmakandis. Lot of stories that will attract the politicians. which we devotees don't delve very deeply into, because the lessons in those stories are not so applicable for us on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. But wherever there is connection with Krishna or pure devotees of Krishna, there we take special interest. For example, Shri Bhishma Dev, he gave instructions to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Now, Gita Press, Gorakhpur Press, they have published all the 110,000 verses of Srila Vyasadev's Mahabharata, and I have that. It is in 6 big volumes with Hindi translation. 4 volumes are just Bhishma Dev's instructions to Yudhishthir Maharaj, and only 2 volumes out of 6 are the actual storyline of Mahabharata. Now, in those 4 volumes where Bhishma Dev is instructing Maharaj Yudhishthir, many stories are about mundane chastity. How a sati can get mystic powers by being chaste to the husband. There are sections about how to ascend to the heavenly planets. There are sections about Nyaya. There are sections about politics, diplomacy. As a king, Yudhishthir needs to know. Now, all those things are totally irrelevant to us as practitioners on the path of Uttama Bhakti, given by Srila Rupa Goswami. So, if you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shukdev Goswami has to describe, or where Srila Vyasadeva has to describe, Suta Goswami is describing to Shaunakadi Rishis what happened between Bhishma Dev and Yudhishthir, that conversation took place. He summarizes in two or three verses. What he spoke about this, he spoke about this, he spoke about this. If Suta Goswami thought it was very important, he would have elaborated. But they were mainly discussions and explanations of political subjects that are useful for statesmen who are rulers, Kshatriyas. They were relevant to them, not relevant for us, Bhaktas, so much. But Bhishma Dev's prayers, which are only 8 or 9 in number, they are mentioned by Suta Goswami, because they are dealing with pure devotional service. So Mahabharata, majority of Mahabharata deals with dharma, artha, kama, moksha, politics, nyaya, ordinary dharma, varnashram dharma, and very few sections deal with pure devotional service. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam completely deals with pure devotional service. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be, for us, considered to be higher, more relevant and higher. Otherwise, Prabhupada would have given us a translation of Mahabharata. But Prabhupada gave us Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam because they are spotless, very pure. They talk about the Paramartha, highest goal, Pancham Purushartha, like that. So Mahabharata is Vedic Grantha, very much to be respected and maybe very relevant for some people. For example, political leaders should read Mahabharata. There are so many nice instructions about what is Punya, what is sin, what is Pap. So all that is there for leaders to know. But for us on the path of Bhakti, where we want to go on the path of Sharanagati, then Mahabharata is not the scripture. The scripture is Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, Mahabharata is naimittic. The entire story of Mahabharata is naimittic. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Krishna's Makhan Chor Leela, which is Nitya Leela. It talks about Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, which are Nitya Leela. So that distinction also is there. Kurukshetra war is not Nitya Leela. It is naimittic Leela. Indrapras, Hastinapur is all naimittic. There is no Hastinapur in Vaikuntha. There is no Indraprastha in Vaikuntha. But there is Dwarka. And there is Vrindavan and Mathura. So therefore, Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam. In Mahabharata, our Acharyas, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who was a Prakand Pandit of all Vedas, he said in the entire Mahabharata, 110,000 shlokas, there is only one place where Shri Vrindavan Dham is invoked. Only one verse. Out of 110,000 verses of Mahabharata, only in one verse Shri Vrindavan Dham is invoked. And that is by Srimati Draupadi Devi in the Kuru Sabha, where she says, Govinda Dwarkavasi, Krishna Gopi Jana Priya. She calls him Krishna Gopi Jana Priya. And she calls him Vrajanatha Arti Nashanam. That you are Vrajanath and you destroy all the Arti, all the sufferings of the Vrajvasis. So these are the only instance in the whole Mahabharata where Vrindavan is invoked. Otherwise, there is no mention of Vrindavan in the whole Mahabharata. So this is the difference between Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, you will get Brahmar Geet, you will get Gopi Geet, you will get Venu Geet. So therefore, Bhagavatam is to be relished. Mahaprabhu relished Bhagavatam in the Gambhira Leela. Is that okay, Mataji? You see the difference? So devotees should not bother themselves too much in understanding Mahabharata in its entirety, not required at all. Maybe once we can read the whole Mahabharata, but there is no need to go deep into it because human life is short, our time is limited, and we should rather go in the line of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and then Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Upadeshamrit, and then there are so many nice commentaries written by our acharyas. Brihad Vaishnava Toshini, Laghu Vaishnava Toshini, Gopal Champu. When will we read all those books? You know? So we have to go in that direction instead of taking a detour towards Mahabharata. We have to go to the Nitya Leela. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Nitya Leela Gaurangi Mataji. We have to go towards Nitya Leela. Okay, so last question, Satyarubha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, in verse number 13, purport, Prabhupada mentions Duryodhana himself was to fall down because of his faithlessness towards Vishnu. How then could he protect his father? So in today's world, we see that people are like Duryodhana only, not having faith towards Krishna. So they will never be able to protect their father even if they give oblations. Is it a waste?
Total waste. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Japa Tapa Apranasya eva Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. Without Bhagavad Bhakti, all these rituals are just like a decoration of a dead body. They do nothing for the person who has died. Apranasya eva Dehasya Mandanam, it is only serving Lokaranjanam. People will feel happy. So without Bhakti, all these kriyas are just fruitless. And therefore, Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj said that a son who is a devotee of Krishna is a putra. Pu trayatiti putra. He saves from the hell, pu. But if he is not a devotee, he is mutra. He is urine. The son is a urine. Useless. It's a fact. Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj said like that.
But it is not the mistake of the parent, right, Prabhuji? If the parent is a devotee or if he is a good man at least, it is not his mistake that the child is a theist. So he will not be.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, in Maharaj Vritrasur's prayers, he says that Mamottama shloka janeshu sakhyam samsara chakra brahmata swakarma bhi. That we go in the samsara chakra swakarma bhi because of our own karma. So Prabhupada also said ultimately we have to fly our own flight to Goloka Vrindavan. So if the son is a non-devotee, it is not the fault of the parents. Or if the parents are non-devotees, son is a devotee, then it is not the son's fault. So Kashyap Muni is a pure devotee, but his son was Hiranyakashipu, non-devotee. It's not Kashyap Muni's fault. Hiranyakashipu, non-devotee, son Prahlad, pure devotee. So if the son is a devotee, the father can be saved. Hiranyakashipu was saved because of Prahlad. So then Prahlad's son, Virochan, again non-devotee. Demon. Virochan's son, Bali Maharaj, devotee. Mahajan, Bali Maharaj, devotee. Bali Maharaj's son, Banasur, non-devotee, fought with Krishna. So who becomes a devotee, who becomes a non-devotee, that is their free will. We can only give opportunities. We can only preach and give opportunities. And whoever chooses to be a devotee will be liberated, will be saved. And whoever chooses not to be a devotee is on the way to hell. But if there is a devotee who prays for that non-devotee, then there is always hope. Like Gokarna saved his brother, Bhagavatam. Padma Puran gives that story. So therefore, we Vaishnavas bring auspiciousness everywhere, wherever they are. Therefore, yesterday in Jayavadharma we were reading, only a Vaishnava society is a civilized society. Everything else is Ara ala gel. Like Lochan Das Thakur says, they come and they go uselessly.
So if a parent is a devotee, then if he has a son or not, it doesn't matter. He will go back home, back to God. No
In
need of.
Chaitanya Lila, there is the story of Govinda Ghosh. Govinda Ghosh was not having any. Govinda Ghosh was Mahaprabhu's personal servant. The three brothers, Madhav Ghosh, Govinda Ghosh, Vasudev Ghosh. So Mahaprabhu told Govinda Ghosh, you come with me as my personal servant. And then Mahaprabhu overate in a house, he was invited. So he got indigestion. So he told Govinda Ghosh, go and bring Haritaki for my digestion. Govinda Ghosh goes and knocked in many doors, could not find Haritaki. Finally found Haritaki in one house after half an hour. Came running, gave Haritaki to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu felt relief. And then next day again, Mahaprabhu went for lunch, prasadam. He was invited. Mahaprabhu overate again and got indigestion. Again he told Govinda Ghosh, Govinda, go and get me Haritaki. He immediately opened his dhoti ka fold and took out Haritaki. Yesterday you were gone for half an hour. Today in half a second you gave Haritaki. Yes, Mahaprabhu, I saved some Haritaki from yesterday. I saved Haritaki because I knew you will need it again. I'll save Haritaki. I saved for you. So Mahaprabhu said, Acha, you have a saving mentality. Then you are not fit to be a brahmachari. You should get married. You go get married. Go back to Bengal and get married. Said Mahaprabhu, I saved Haritaki for your service. No, you go and get married. You are not qualified to be a brahmachari. So he got married. And when he was crying, Mahaprabhu said, okay, I will give you my own deity. So Mahaprabhu gave a deity of Gopinath. It was not different from Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu manifested that deity of Krishna, threefold bending Gopinath. He said, this is Gopinath. You serve him, he is non-different from me. I will stay with you always as Gopinath. So the Gopinath became his life and soul, Govinda Ghosh. He went back to Bengal, Navadvip. He got married, had a son. After some time, his son died. And then his wife also died. At a very young age. And then again, he thought, why did I get married? I got a son, my son died, I had a wife, my wife died. Again, I am alone. I left my service to Mahaprabhu, I came here. And what is the use? It's useless. So he told Gopinath, from today I will not cook for you, go. So then Gopinath came walking and he just went and laid down on the bed. So Gopinath came and said, Arey, the sun has risen. You have not woken me up. You have not given me any bal bhog breakfast. What you are doing? He said, why should I give you? My wife died, my son died. I have nobody who will do my pindadan. I have a son so that somebody will do pindadan and I will be saved from hell. Now who will save me? Who will do pindadan? So that time Gopinath tells that for devotees, you don't have to worry about anybody doing shraddha or pindadan for you. You don't have to worry. So Govinda says, really? So, yes. So who will do pindadan? Gopinath says, I will do pindadan for my devotees. And even today in that village, every year on his Tirobhav Tithi, there is a Mahotsav. And he does, Gopinath comes out and he does the pindadan for Govinda Ghosh. So the moral of the story is devotees don't have to worry about shraddha or pindadan. If the son is there or family members are there, then they can do. Son or son-in-law, they can do. But if there is nobody, they don't have to worry. Yogakshemam vaham meham. Why should the devotee worry about all these things? Krishna says, Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji, mam namaskuru mam eva shasya. Definitely will come to me. So our job is just, we have to become Krishna parayan. We have to become Krishna conscious. That's all. Krishna takes care of everything. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for such a heart-touching answer and story. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Thank you.